talk to you about time. It's time. It's time. It's time for
the SWAC Cross Division Game of the Year as the #1 ranked passer, Andrew Body, leads Alabama State's #1 ranked offense against Trevor Randall and Prairie View A&M's #1 ranked defense. Can Alabama State keep their hopes of going to the SWAC championship game alive, or will the Panthers show that they are the big dog in the SWAC this year? Get your tickets to see November 1st, 2025 at 2 p.m.
Hey, Bill. It's that time, man. It's that time. Hey, we got a big one on the hill this weekend, man. First and foremost, man, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? We got all the people in the building joining on right now. What's going on with you, Bill? How you doing?
Man, let me tell you something. This brings back old memories, man. This brings back that old memory in 2009 where, you're looking for a chance to clinch, and it's kind of got that build up, but it's a little different now because I'm on the other side of it. So, those pads you can't put on no more, but that anxiety level is high. But I'm excited, man, and I didn't realize how excited I was, man. I've been talking football all day long, with various fans, people agree. Even we talked earlier, man. I think the atmosphere is right for a good win. But man, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Hey, man, I'm really excited too. I think it's gonna be a great game. I think it's gonna be a really good showing, and I know Panther Nation is excited. I hope the SWAC is excited in general because SWAC TV really about to get some benefits from, having this game on SWAC TV instead of on one of the other stations or one of the other channels. So with that said, man, I'm really excited. I hope people ready for the show though, because it's really about to be a show. But we're gonna talk about that in a second. You know what I'm saying? Um, we're gonna get that together in a second. What's going on? Baby girl's crying over here. You know what I mean? But first and foremost, we got everybody in the building. Mr. Malone in the building. It's time. You know what I'm saying? He said it is time. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Edra say, here comes Alabama State. You know what I mean? I got Zay in the building. Quincy in the building. Said, what's good, everyone? What up, TV? Down in the valley. Oh, there is a place I want to go. What's going on? There's a place I want to go. But before we get into it, man, y'all already know what we got to do. Got to show love to the sponsors. Baby girl say no. We're not say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. You're not gonna speak to the people. You're not gonna speak to the people. But with that said, man, let's show love to the sponsors before we start getting into it and really talking football today, right? We got to talk some football. But listen, if you have not yet, man, you got to hit up PV alumni Jeff McKissick. He's a Texas licensed loan officer with Fairway Independent Mortgage Company, and he'll guide you seamlessly through the home buying process. And many of us are unaware of our true financial standing, but listen, Jeff will help you develop a step-by-step plan to improve your financial standing, making your dream of owning a home achievable sooner than you think. So many of us, listen, we got issues to solve like credit and student loan debt, but don't let the fear of achieving new heights hold you back. Perfect for your growing family and for hosting those PV watch parties. So get started now on taking the first steps towards your new home and the next big step in your life. Don't delay. Talk with Jeff today so you can be in your home tomorrow. Now, listen, after Jeff gets you right, now you got to hit your boy up, all right? You know what I'm saying? And I believe that, hey, just as God has a perfect place for you in heaven, he has a special place for you to reside while here on this earth. And so we are really just preparing a place for you. And after we find that spot, we want to make sure, amen, that it is ready to go. And so when you're thinking big about your home purchase and want a thorough assessment of your biggest investment, you owe it to yourself to contact Big as Blueprint Improvement Group. Big provides home inspections in the greater Houston area and is owned and operated by proud people mechanical engineer Neil Harris. He has experienced inspectors who use advanced tools and techniques to assess every aspect of the property from the roof to the foundation. So visit thinkbig.com or text 713-259-0673 to book your home inspection. Support the team that supports the team. And we talk about supporting the team that supports the team, B. Listen, we've been talking about it, right? Y'all saw the promo, right? We created. We've been doing a lot of stuff, just as, PV Nation fans, right? You know what I mean? We started a Run It Up challenge where we give every win, we give the amount of points that the team has scored that game, right? We had some awesome things that, you with the PV Football Alumni Association, Rose with the National Alumni Association, you know what I'm saying? We also got some stuff, the Atlanta chapter already getting together for the Alabama A&M game, the Qs are getting the bus together to go roll down there. We got a lot of stuff going on with TV Nation. But if one thing I love when I see the alum getting it in, but man, ain't nothing like when I see the students starting to get it together. And so not only GMC, shouts out the Gold Members Club, because they also got the student section rocking, right, already. So if you're trying to get down with the student section, make sure you're there for this weekend. But listen, P3 is putting it together, and they say, hey, listen, they getting all the freshmen out for the first SWAC game, for this really pivotal and important SWAC game. So first and foremost, before we start getting into some of the other stuff, man, what's your thoughts on this with the dorm storm, they calling it, right? If they going to come together down to the stadium, right, and really get it in and get that home atmosphere like it's supposed to be.
Man, I think it's a cool thing, man. It's what's needed. It's something. It's just an opportunity for some of those kids to get a chance to see what this football atmosphere looks like on a whole nother level. A lot of times, people come to the game and they leave early and stuff like that. But with a game at this magnitude and it just I can't just speak to the magnitude of this one game, but I think it's an awesome opportunity for them to get a chance to get out and rub elbows, meet some new people, but also have a good time and be in this and be a part of this win because once we win, that's something that they can hang their hat on and be a part of the experience and something they can think about for years to come and say, hey, I was at this game on that championship run. So I think it's a great idea. I'm excited to see exactly how many freshmen actually come to the game. Because you have some that stay back, some students not really into sports like that. But for the gold member and also some of the I guess the dorm staff to get them out of there, that's big, man. That's big. That's showing that we're moving the fan base in terms of the future alumni in the right direction.
I definitely think that's exactly what it's doing, man. And listen, when them freshmen get in there, and I think we've been talking about this offline. We've had a lot of conversation, I think, as alum that really love the program and support the program of what we know and believe would really be a benefit. And we've been seeing a lot of those things starting to take place, right, and starting to take shape. And so I just think this is really just the beginning of a lot of great things that's really going on with the department. And again, right, it's going to take the alum, it's going to take students, it's going to take the department, it's going to take the community all together to get exactly where we want to be. But we're moving in that direction, and that's something that we can all be excited about. I think that's the most important thing. We can all be excited about this dorm storm. Because see, I remember when the Gold Members Club was started, because it was started when we was there, right? Yeah. You was playing, and I was writing. I was with the Panther. You was on the field actually getting it in. I remember when them boys started. I remember when Jay Malone and Trent and Josh Wright, they got Gold Members Club started. And this is what we would do. We would start all the way over by the UC. We would walk all the way down, right? Our own Panther walk, come into the stadium, right? A few minutes before it's time for the kickoff, get in our section, we go crazy.
Yeah.
I remember when it gets started. And so the things I've seen them do, even in the student section this year, with some of the face painting and things of that nature, lets me know that we got students that's actually excited for ball. And I can't wait to see it even with the basketball season. Volleyball girls is going crazy. I can't wait to see it, the volleyball games. So it's been like that right now. And I see it getting back to that point with what's just going on with not just T-Jack, but a lot of the new coaches in the new eras that we got on campus too as well. So we're going to talk to some of these ladies, some of these gentlemen in the soon future too as well. But big game coming up. Big game. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Martin in the building. And listen, I had to come on because, see, and I had to bring Bell on, right? And listen, I'm going to tell you, the phone line is open. Because if you think Prairie View's going to lose by 21 points, you need to call and let me know why that even makes any type of sense. But we're going to talk ball because people talking feelings right now all over the space. Now, if you believe Alabama State going to win, hey, it is what it is, right? But you can't sit up here and tell me you really believe these boys about to get blow out. That is don't make no, I just don't understand what you seeing that make you think that makes sense, right? And so 805-706-5770, go on, call in, get in the queue. I need to hear. If you think we getting blowed out by 21, I need to hear why you think that makes sense. And listen, if you really know what's about to happen and you want to explain to these people why what's about to happen to them is about to happen to them, man, you can go and get in the queue too. 805-706-5770. Y'all can go and call in, man. I'm even drop the StreamYard link too. Because some of y'all may say, man, I don't want to call in. I'm on my phone. You hit the StreamYard link too. It don't matter, right? Because I need to hear from y'all why y'all think that even makes sense, okay? Because it really don't make sense. But we're going to talk ball in a second. We're going to really break it down. We're going to really talk about it. But listen, hey, first and foremost, we got to get to that SWAC standings right now just to see where we are overall total in the full process of things. Obviously, the big game this past week with Grambling knocking off Jackson State, that put them in a position where now they are tied with Alabama State and Bethune-Cookman at 3-1. The benefit for Jackson State is they still control their destiny, though. They can still win out and still be able to get to the SWAC championship game. But Alabama State, Bethune-Cookman, and FAMU sitting there 2-1 still have a chance and opportunity. So big weekend coming up with FAMU playing Jackson State. You also got other couple games to look forward to. You got the Florida Classic that's coming up. That's going to be a huge game in the standings as well. So you still got a couple other ones that's left there. And so Alabama State really is kind of sitting there waiting to see kind of what happens with other teams because they don't get a chance anymore to kind of help themselves. They've done everything they can do, beating FAMU and Bethune. But Jackson and FAMU and Bethune can make a lot of movement. On the west side of things, obviously right now, PV is in the driver's seat. Texas Southern is still hanging around there, right? Being able to get some games in, being able to get some wins against Grambling, right? That 1-point victory, being able to pull it out against Valley. So they're still right there. And their schedule is very similar to ours. They have both of the Alabama schools. I believe they also have Alcorn and Southern left. And so they have some games that they're going to have to sweat it through and really get some victories to stay in it and to give them a chance to possibly be able to play for a SWAC championship game. But of course, that's going to depend on what Prairie View also does down the stretch as well. So with that said, Bill, man, what do you just think about what the SWAC looks like right now as we're about to head into November?
We could throw out this notion that let me say this. We could throw out this notion that because certain teams in our division on the west side is down, that means the conference is down. And we saw what that looked like from a Grambling beating Jackson State. I think with the status of just looking at everything in the east side, there's still some good football left to play. Like you said, Jackson still controls his own destiny. But I'm eager to see what that game is going to look like this weekend. With Jackson going into Bragg and being able to go into a hostile environment after FAMU was able to get a win. I'm also looking at later on down the line, and maybe a little further down, Alcorn State and that Jackson State matchup. That's a rivalry game, so you never know which way that's going to go either. Because Alcorn just got a win, but Alcorn and Jackson State can't stand each other. So those games, those have been some great games over the years. And then looking at also Texas Southern being on our heels, they playing some good football. They've been able to dig out a win against Grambling, which kept them at that number 2 position on our side division. So I think there's still a lot of good football left to play. Even with us going on the road playing against Alabama, and then having playing Alabama, and I'm sorry, and then having a good UAPB team, because they're better than some of these teams are better than what their records show. It's just, when you line down and play on that day, that's just kind of, how this thing goes, and what you do when that opportunity presents itself. So I think we still good football left to play. I know some people heard about, a certain loss that took place, but you can't dwell on it, you gotta keep going, because that's the difference between you hang your hat on that loss and a team, licking their chops and saying like, "Hey, listen, I got something to prove." So I'm excited, man. I'm still excited. My philosophy is this: you got to win every game that's on your schedule, so you don't have to worry about nobody creeping up on you. So it's still some good football left to play around, no matter what these records look like.
No, I definitely agree with that, man. And we're gonna really get to see as it comes down. We got some couple games left, and all of them are gonna be important. Elvin said, "Man, the West is weak, but the West team beat the top East team second year in a row." And that lets you know again, the games have to be played. It doesn't really matter what people say, and that's what we've been talking about. And really, we've been laid back in the cut, to be honest, Bill. Right? Last year, we're really making a lot of noise because we're really trying to will the team to victory. This year, it's like you look at what was coming, you say, "I'm very comfortable. I can just really sit back and just let it all happen because I can see what is going to be. I can see what's there in front of me, in front of my eyes." And so, as the statement goes, right? The quote is, "All disrespect will be addressed." Okay, and so in its proper time, in its proper place. But before we get into the game, because there's only one game really this weekend, we ain't talking about Jackson and FAMU today. We ain't talking about Bethune today. We're not talking about Texas Southern Alcorn today. We talking about Big PV against Bama State. That's what the conversation is. So again, if you want to get in on a conversation, 805-706-5770. I also dropped the link to the StreamYard there because I don't want nobody to have no excuse of why they couldn't put it on wax and say why they believe Bama State is going to win this game by 3 touchdowns. Because I just can't understand. If you said that you got a 1-score victory, you say 3 points, 4 points, I can understand that. But you coming up here saying that Prairie View is going to get blown out, I just don't understand. Bill, from what I'm seeing and hearing, I mean, everybody believes this game is going to be a blowout. So I just want to understand why. I said Rattlers back in the hunt. They are EA. Y'all are right there. Y'all got y'all shot this weekend at 6 p.m. in Bragg too, by the way.
Yeah.
Y'all got a great chance to win this game. 3-1, you guys will literally be right there to have an opportunity to win the SWAC East. Again, if they win, Alabama State technically has a tiebreaker, but they're right there if they can get that victory. Hey, man, say, man, what's up, Jared? He in the building. West being weak is predicated on the preseason favorites. Yeah, that's facts, right? It's really based on those preseason favorites. But again, how many times have we seen the preseason favorite not really end up at the end of the year being at the top. So it is what it is, man. So with that said, man, first and foremost, I want to get into this HBCU top 10 rankings. A lot of rankings going on. Now, what's really interesting, because there are a lot of rankings going on, people rank things all type of ways. But I did want to say the AFCA, and I didn't have it on the screen, AFCA, which is the official top 100, right? Stats performed in the AFCA, right? Official top 25 list. They have Prairie View with receiving votes, right? They're not ranked. They're receiving votes. Alabama State's not ranked. They're receiving votes. Jackson State in one poll is 20. In one poll, they're 24, I believe, in another poll. So they had big drops in both polls. But the AFCA poll actually has Prairie View receiving more votes than Alabama State. Now, I think that's really interesting, Bill, because obviously in the HBCU sphere, everybody has Alabama State ahead of Prairie View. But to me, again, when you start really looking at resumes of both teams, I don't think you can look and say, man, Alabama State has just played a tremendously better schedule than Prairie View. I think you can actually argue that Prairie View has a stronger strength of schedule. And we actually look at the KPI rankings for FCS. Prairie View KPI ranking is actually the highest in the SWAC at number 26. Higher than Jackson State, higher than FAMU, higher than Alabama State. And so, again, I think the way we in this space are looking at even the schedule and the strength of the schedule, the people who actually got real votes and who actually are a part of voting for what actually matters, AFCA polls, Stats Perform poll, KPI index, what it's showing, is actually showing something different than what people are saying. But what's your thoughts on this, man? What's your thoughts on the top 10 that I got listed here again? Listen, Jackson lost to Grambling. Alabama State lost to Jackson. Prairie View right now 6-2, 4 on the conference. Even if you feel they're better teams, I just had to slot Prairie View there. I mean, just like when Jackson beat Alabama State, I can't put Alabama State over Jackson. Couldn't put PV over Jackson, right? So now things have switched up. You got Prairie View in the first spot. What's your thoughts, man?
Don't pick me number one. Don't pick me number one. Pick me to lose each week like they've been doing every week. I think that may be some method to the madness. But I mean, I think what it boils down to the strength of schedule. We haven't played a lot. We haven't played really a lot of D2 schools. We have some other schools that's on this list that started out their season playing a couple of D2 schools. With the exception of us playing Lincoln, which our coach did not choose to play because he's new on the job. But I'm just thinking about just the strength of schedule. I think we had a tougher schedule. You think about the UTRG team or UTRGV team. They are probably one of the top schools in the FCS in their division right now. And I think that they pretty much would hand pretty much any other school on this list of L as well. Good football team, first year. Had an opportunity to probably practice pretty much for a whole year straight, play some games, but I don't take that away. They're a good football team. So when you start thinking about the strength of schedule between that, us playing Northwestern, and also just in general, I think that kind of helped bump us up to where we are. Alabama State is playing really good football. I like to be honest because you still have to respect your opponent at the end of the day. But Alabama State is a damn good football team. Jackson State is a good football team as well. But I think looking at the slate, I think I can't argue with this. I hadn't seen really too much from South Carolina State this year. It's going to be interesting some of the matchups that they have, being that the MEAC only has about 5 or 6 conference games, so that's a lot to tell. Bethune-Cookman, I think Bethune-Cookman is probably at the right. They're right there where they're supposed to be. Because they're also playing some good football as well. So it's gonna be eager as we get closer. When they start playing teams like Jackson and some of these others. So I can't argue with this top 10 poll. I like us at number one because I believe we're number one. But you know, I'm eager to see how this thing gonna work out. You got the number one defense versus the number one offense. I know a lot of people don't like to move the goalposts when we start talking about stats. At one point, everybody's talking about stats. My team is this, my team is that. But when you look at the facts, the hard facts that they record, it's the reason why we have a number one defense, and it's the reason why Alabama State has the number one offense. I can't take anything away from Jackson. Jackson You know, they play for. They lost to a really good Grambling football team. Most people look at them and say they're bad, but you have to line down. You have to play to the end. I feel, and I just say before I say this, man, prayers up for T-Set, and his family, with his injury. I'm praying you never want to see a kid, get hurt. Anybody, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But in this HBCU space, having played the game, having coached the game, my prayers and heartfelt, our prayers are with him and his family for a full recovery, and that God will keep his hand on him. But that kid laid out on the line, and I think he put them in the right position for them to win that game. So, yeah, I think this poll is nice. Put me back at number 4. Drop us down to number 4 and see how we pan out, because that's where they put us early in the season. So,
Yeah, well,
look, like,
I mean, listen. Trust me. This the only list where we number one. Trust me. So it don't matter. It's because it's the truth. But all the lists I've seen. I mean, I've seen us dropping some people's polls, right? You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Say hey. And so Elvin wanted us to pull up Alabama State schedule. They play UAB, right? Obviously, that was that big breakout game. Body just went crazy, and of course, that really what made people say, "Oh, look, right, they arrived." The Southern game, 30-7. Southern, one win on the year. Miles, I think, is 3-6 on the year. Florida A&M has 2 wins now in conference. And then 3 wins altogether. They beat Albany State as well, so they're 3-4 on the year. 3-4, 3-5 on the year. 3-4 right now. They might be 3-3 because they had to move a Valley game. Actually, let me see.
yeah.
I think we had the records up here too, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think that Valley game is moved to the end of the year, right?
no, they 3-4 right now, and then the Valley game moved to the end of the year, right? So they 3-4 on the year, and then they play Bethune Cookman. Bethune Cookman, of course, is they're 4-4, right? So they 500, not a losing record there. Jackson State, of course, and then Alabama A&M also with a 4-4 record, right? So right now, yeah, you're right. Only one team with a winning record, right? Which is Jackson. The other teams 4-4. I think people looked at Alabama A&M a little bit better because they saw the Tennessee State win, of course, early in the year. They handled Alcorn by about 10 points and put a lot of points on them. So that's kind of what made people look at Alabama A&M as a little bit stronger team, I think, early in the season because of those 2 victories. But obviously, Tennessee State has kind of went back in the back of the pack as far as us recognizing that they aren't a great football team, all right? And so yeah. So when you talk about resumes, though, at the end of the day, nothing crazy, right? And I think we can't take it as if this is the same thing I said with NCCU. By the way, I said NCCU had not played anybody yet. They've only beat teams. Every win they got is against a team with 1 win. So how you judge their schedule against anybody else right now and just think oh, they're great. I mean, I understand, they put up some points, but the teams they played wasn't. We saying those teams not great. So if they're not great, they're just not great. But it seems as if we judge those victories differently. Well, when Jackson beat Southern or when North Carolina Central beat Southern, it's weighed a little bit different than when the Alabama State or Prairie View beat Southern. At the end of the day, it's the same team. It's Southern either good or they're not good. I mean, it is what it is. But we keep seeing the goalposts being moved. Listen, just let us know what the goalpost is going to be. We're going to spot the ball and play.
It's never gonna stop. This is my thing. Like, I'm a competitor. I'm a true competitor, and I believe in playing the best. Right. So I can only play, like Coach Frazier used to tell us. You can only play one game at a time, and whoever's on that schedule, that's who you play. And a lot of these teams traditionally, they bounce around. They play these different games. Like Jackson plays. They have that permanent game against Southern. So, I hear a lot of times, well, y'all don't play nobody tough. Y'all don't play no, but you got to remember, not too long ago, I think a little over 3 years ago, Jackson wasn't who they are today.
Right.
So a lot of the times, then it's like, okay, well, Prairie View, you didn't play this team, well, you didn't play the team. Like miss me with all of this. The West is down, because your school is bad. Like, let's stop. Like, let's get back to being a competitor, because to me, it's making excuses, because it's not my fault that my coach recruited and prepared my team to get where they were supposed to be, and yours didn't. You still got to line down and play the game. Like, we can, it's all for entertainment when you think about it. We gonna all there's gonna be some bias in it, but when you think about it, you still have to sit down and play the game. But it is not our fault that we beat your team and we prepared. Like we were better. Just like UTRBG was better. You just like Rice was better that day. It's not our fault. It's not their fault that they beat us. So let's stop doing that because what that also does is it gives the conference a black eye. In my opinion, because we talk so negatively in this, right? Because Southern is not good, or Grammy's not good, or whoever it is, Jackson or whatever is not good. The conference not good. People are still holding true to those old wins a long time ago. So we got to push past that because you got a good Texas Southern team. If they don't lose to us, where would they be? They could possibly be at number one. So let's kind of like let's move away from that because the thing about it is it's not gonna stop us from trying to win every week. So it's either you go hire a coach who's gonna put your program in a position where you want them to be, just like we hired a coach to put us in a position where we want to go. So I that's the part that I want to get away from because you also do those kids a disservice too. Because those kids work hard, but don't discredit somebody else's success because your team not winning.
And that's all it is. Because it's like, well, Southern's not good. Okay. I mean, when this the thing that doesn't make sense to me. When Southern was good, say a few years ago, was Texas Southern good? Were they competent? They wasn't. So the fact that Southern's now incompetent and Texas Southern is competent, how does that change anything about the West? That means the West is still exactly the same, meaning there's one competent team up and there's one incompetent team down. Doesn't matter don't matter what color on the jersey. It's still everything is still exactly the same. Just like you talked about Jackson State. A few years back, they were down for a while.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It didn't matter. Alcorn is still doing their thing. Even though Jackson was down. Now Alcorn is down. Jackson doing their thing. It has these ebbs and flows, but again, everybody wants to say things based on the color on the jersey. That don't matter. It don't matter.
But that goes to show you, Lionel. That goes to show you still got to play the game. Like fans are gonna be fans. You have to play that football game. The Grambling showed us. People don't get me wrong. Like that's an unfortunate, injury to Jacoby and Morgan. He is the heart and soul, and people said that of his team. But you got to have that next man up mentality. That's why you also recruit. You got to be able to recruit somebody that's going to be able to come in event or something happen like that. Like we played two quarterbacks. We're in a situation, first year coach, but this is the hand that we're dealt. So you deal with it. You can't make excuses because if that's the case, then, why play the game? Do we stop playing because, he broke his foot? It's unfortunate. I hate that T-Set got hurt, but that other kid had to come in and make a play. So it's about quality. It's not about just having that number one guy. You got to have some quality depth.
You got to have depth too at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Coach Jack talked about early in the season. He literally said, you're talking about things. He said, I saw two quarterbacks last year when I'm watching games go on this SWAC. The teams that made it to championship both played two quarterbacks. I'm not going to get caught, right? So at the end of the day, these are things you have to think about and have to keep going. EA here is saying, oh, man, it's some bad football being played in SWAC this year. I'm a realist. At the end of the day, these are the same individuals and people who will look and say, well, you only had Jackson and Fam this other year, and everybody else was far behind, right? So, again, what difference does it make if this year those two, 3 teams at the top look different? What difference is it if we go 15 years back and it's Grambling at the top with Southern and Alcorn and everybody else is down? It doesn't matter. Nothing has changed throughout the period of time. And this is why, again, the narrative just changed based on, again, the colors on the jerseys. But the reality of the situation is, like people say, the SWAC is down. Look at the out of conference. Somebody show me the year when the SWAC had a great out of conference record since 2000, since the year 2000. Because I've gone back and looked so that I can sit here and make the statements I'm making right now, which is it's been the same. Your narrative changed based on who you believe should be quality in the conference, not based on the actual quality of the conference, but who you believe should be quality. So if Grambling is not quality because they're a crumbling dynasty, that's what they are right now. I've been telling y'all that for the last 2 years. They're a crumbling dynasty. Southern the crumbling dynasty too, right? They just took long. They taking longer to crumble than Grambling. They already up on the ground, breaking into pieces. But because the black and gold ain't at the top, now you're thinking that things should be different, right? But things shouldn't be different. Things are exactly how they should be. What you push? Things are exactly how they should. I don't know what you pushing over here. Things are exactly how they should be. It doesn't matter. Just because a different color jersey team is at the top right now, look, things change. It ebbs and flows. But if you really break it down and look and say, man, how many teams in 2007 really had a shot to win the championship? You ain't telling me 10 teams. You're not. You're not telling me 10 teams. You're naming a handful, just as you would do this year. It's no different. So again, people say those things, but it doesn't matter, right? And it really, at the end of the day, like I told you the other year when we made the championship and they wanted somebody else, we who you got though, right? I don't care who you want to see in the championship game. I don't care who you want to see in the Celebration Bowl. Deal with it. Ain't my problem. It's your problem. Now,
hey, like I said, Lionel, that like like I say, man, it's. I mean, because this is my thing, and I'll say this and I'll leave it alone because it really don't matter. I guess people still trying to hold on to the days because that's gonna be the running through. They're gonna hold on to the days of preview on 80, but we've beat every last one of the teams in the SWAC after that. So what does that make? And I know people hate this notion of, I lost against Prairie View, but this is not that time frame. This is a whole totally different decade. And with the resources and the scholarship and all that stuff, and people should know that already. We even just being a part of that championship run when I was at Prairie View. Like I tell people, thinking back, the 2009 team we won, but that 2018 was better. We lost to a Grambling team. We lost to a Graham team that went on to win. We beat Jackson State at home in Blackshear. What year was that? That had to been maybe like my freshman year. And Jackson State ended up going to win the championship. So you on any given day, you got to line down, you got to play. So like I said, it's not my fault that you didn't do what you were supposed to do, prepare.
Yeah, and Tech Southern plays that game because they can't play an NCAA game on a campus, right? It just is what it is. And they want to play a home game for homecoming. So it's just something they have to deal with. They can't play another team because of their situation. So I'm not killing them for that because it's just their situation. They want to have homecoming on campus because ain't nobody going to Shell. It just is what it is, right? If you go look at the games at Shell when they play homecoming, nobody's there. So you got to make a decision. You either going to play games in empty stadium for homecoming or you play a team that's a lower level on campus. You kind of got to make the decision unless they can figure out how to get it stadium, which probably ain't gonna happen. So with that said, man, yeah, and we're talking about box score podcasters. This is the reason why I just don't understand. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand that why people make the notion is because I just don't think people watch the games, right? Like I go back and I watch the games because I want to see the flow of the games. Because that matters. Listen, it's not just the score. It's not just the end score. So for me to help me to understand what I think is going to happen or how I think games are going to play out. I need to understand how things got the way they are. And so I really want to get into it now, start looking at some numbers and really talk about this game and really, what's going to go down, how people think it's going to go. Because when you look at the contrast, when you talk about the number one defense in the SWAC going up against the number one offense, first and foremost, this game is an awesome game. Like this game is an awesome game. If you're in the Houston area, even if you're not a Prairie View or Alabama State alum, but you're just a fan of the SWAC, you're a fan of good football, this game is going to be a great game because it's going to be a contrast of styles. Reminds me of that Texas Longhorns game back when they played Nebraska for the championship when they had Ndamukong Suh. Oh man, I love that game. You know what I mean? Those games where it's like a contrast in styles. And so you talk about Prairie View. Right now, only giving up 17.3 points a game. Now, in the SWAC, we're only giving up 12 points a game, by the way. These are overall numbers. In the SWAC, even less than that. And I know people say, well, you ain't played nobody. Well, I'm happy we get to play somebody this week, okay? So, average yards per game, 287.8, still haven't allowed over 300 yards a game yet in the SWAC. 4.9 yards per play on defense given up, right? We talk about Alabama State on offense, complete contrast. 41.9 points per game. And you saw what they did to Alabama A&M. You saw how they came out striking against UAB. You saw that they were able to put up points against a Jackson team that people look and say, hey, man, they got some defensive players over there, and they still able to put up points. And so they can move the ball down the field. 483.4 yards per game that they're averaging, right? And so they're able to do some things when you talk about, Alabama State. They also average 8.1 yards per play. Bell, crazy. 8.1 yards per play. Amazing. When you're looking at these numbers, right, even further, run game, Prairie View averages 181.3 yards a game, 236.9 Alabama State. Again, they had two really big games, one against Bethune-Cookman where they basically ran for 400 yards, right? Had another game they ran over 300. So, those big games really have that number super high. Against Jackson and Southern, ran for a little bit less than that, right? So that's something we're going to talk about as we keep really breaking this game down. Pass yards per game given up. Prairie View only 141.4 yards per game through the air, right? We talk about 246.6 yards for Alabama State. So these guys are basically matching 240 and 240 in the air and on the ground. They can get it done both ways on the offensive side of things. And that pass efficiency, I'm sorry, I don't know how I got the wrong number in there for pass efficiency. Let me get that number in here. Pass efficiency for Prairie View on defense, 108.9, right? Efficiency, 108.9. Alabama State, again, complete opposite, 198.1. I mean, they just look great on the offensive side of things. Now, when we talk about the other way, right? Because listen, there's three sides to everything. We talk about special teams. You talk about offense, and you talk about defense. And so Alabama State don't just play offense all game. They got a special teams unit that got to get it done. Just like Prairie View got a special team unit that got to get it done. And we both also play the opposite side of the ball. And so on offense right now, Prairie View averaging 23.8 points per game. Alabama State giving up 24 points per game. I mean, I almost look like a perfect match right now, right? 373.6 yards for Prairie View on offense, 366.6 for Alabama State, right? Again, looks close, right? We talk about yards per play. Prairie View averaging 6 yards per play throughout the season so far. Alabama State giving up 5.5 yards per play. So again, talking about numbers that's really close here. And then when you talk about on the run game, pass game, you break it down, 146.4 yards per game on offense. Prairie View, 172.7 yards. Sorry, I actually think I mixed this up a little bit. Yeah, it should be 181 yards per game on the ground for Prairie View. 181. 172 for Alabama State giving up. 192 pass yards per game for Prairie View. 193 given up by Alabama State. And then efficiency 123 and 130. What's your thoughts, Bill, just when you talk about both of the matchups, right? First, let's talk about the matchup between our defense and Alabama State's offense. What's your thoughts there? And again, the call line is open, 805-706-5770. If you want to get in and talk about this game, call line is open. StreamYard link is open. Mr. Mickens is joining us too as well. How you doing? Good evening. But you guys let me know. What's your thoughts? First and foremost, let's break down Alabama State's offense versus Prairie View's defense. What's your thoughts there?
I think it's gonna be a good game. When I'm looking at the numbers, both teams do you got number one offense, number one defense. They both do good things on each side of the ball. When I think about Alabama State offense, they are explosive. They like those big plays, but what they like to do is they like to try to get that ball into the receiver's hands so they can make plays. If you can look at some of the screens and different things that they do, and be, like I said, they want to establish a run as well. If they get to running, they can run you down the field. You're gonna have an issue. It's gonna be a long day. But and don't get me wrong, like I like some of the stuff that they do from a offensive guy standpoint. Like I said, they're just trying to get in there, which is smart. They try to get the ball in their guys' hands so they can make some plays. And because they got some guys that can go. But we also got some guys as well that can go on the defense side of the ball who we flow to the ball very, very well. We're fast at linebacker, we're physical at the point of attack. They're also physical. So I think it's gonna boil down to being a chess match. Who's gonna make less mistakes. When it comes down, also comes down to penalties as well. But Alabama State, like the offense is going to run through body, of course. They're going to look to give him some opportunities where he can use his legs as well. Because watching film today and just kind of watching him throughout the season, those broken plays where he gets outside the pocket, he's always looking to keep his eyes down the field. Those are the ones that hurt you. I don't see him just dropping back and throwing 50 times a game and just lighting up the scoreboard. Not saying that he can't do it, but I just don't see him doing it. The only game that I can think of where he semi did that was that UAPB game. Not UAPB game, I'm sorry, the UAB game where he was throwing it around the yard a bit. But it's gonna be it's gonna be a battle of the wits. If we can contain those big plays and we keep a spy on him um on the defense side of the ball and limit those big plays, with his legs, I think we'll be in good shape. Defensively, it's just being physical like we've always been. A lot of times, people, they look at our defense and say, "Hey, they're not this and not that," but they don't realize how fast our defense is because they don't watch it. They look at the clips, they look at the box scores, because it's sexy to be able to say, "Hey, this school scored 50 points, or scored 30 points, or scored 60 points." But how, what are the defenses that they're going up against? But it's gonna be unique with the type of scheme that we run. And like I said, man, it's gonna be exciting to see. But yeah, man, I can't talk enough about Body because he's a damn good quarterback, damn good quarterback. But I think we'll be able to the speed of our defense and our DC. I think we'll be able to come out on top on this one. Mr. Carey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Brandon? Yeah, I think the key to this game is going to be the offense is going to have to help the defense play some defense.
Yeah,
We can't have like the first time we get the kickoff, whether it's first half or second half, can't go 3-and-out.
yeah,
You can't get the ball and put the defense right back on the field with a turnover. Got to take care of the ball. And it looks like if we ran our normal against their normal that their defense runs,
hmm,
then we would give us a chance. But we can't have a stale offense this weekend. That's going to be the wild card in the game is our offense showing up. Now, back to that, what people don't realize is our defensive backfield is bigger than it's ever been. The safeties are pretty much hybrid linebackers. That's going to be a different look. Everybody looks at Jackson State and maybe a couple Grambling schools like that because everybody they sign, you see them all over social media. Oh, they got this guy. Oh, they got that guy. Oh, he's going to be great. And whereas PV is hard to nail down any one or two guys that you say, oh, this guy's going to show up and turn the game around. Nobody's talking about Cam Peters or Carter the way they talk about Body because it's more to the team than our quarterbacks. With Alabama State, Body has played very well this year, really well, but he's also their leading rusher. So that's kind of a dangerous place to be, in case he get a turf toe, anything weird happens, or say our defensive coordinator just figures out how to bottle him up, then, somebody else has to show up, and Jalen Jones has been good. Host Claw's been good. But they can't, I just feel for this game, nobody gives our defense any credit, but if you look at UTRGB and the number of yards they have been getting per game and the way our defense, we lost that game, and really it was because of, one of the things Lionel talks about. We had a bad turnover right at the end, but we were driving, and I think we would have came back and won that game, but we had a turnover. So, but we don't go back and say, oh, if we hadn't lost the ball, we would have beat them down like some other people say. We just say, hey, we lost that game. But that team has turned out to be a prolific offense, and everybody says we didn't play anybody. But if that team had blistered us like they've been blistering everybody else, our defensive numbers wouldn't look the way they look. And so I don't really care. They can rank us 5th or 7th, like a certain podcaster has. We don't care where they put us. When we win this weekend, they'll just say, "Oh, Alabama State." They'll say something. Y'all turf was too slippery or something, or we gave Andrew Body a bad hamburger at the alumni hall. I don't know, but them, like I said on another podcast, they're gonna move the goalposts if we win that game, and they'll say, "Well, you got by them, but this team's gonna get you. Oh, you got by them, but SWAC championship, no way you win it." So it's okay. They picked against your team too in 2009. They never ranked you guys one or said that they looked to you to win the SWAC. It was like, no way. And then after you won, they still, didn't talk. Because I think, like you said, that 07, that 08, 09, and even the 10 team when but KJ Black was dinged up. But if he hadn't been dinged up, you would have won it again in 2010.
We had a
So
good football team. We had a real good
yeah,
football team to go from 3-7, 7-3, 9-1. Didn't play in the championship game because they lost to Grambling, and then come back
yep.
and go win the conference. And then KJ tears his ACL, and then now we're in a situation where we had the same. We had some of those younger guys plus those guys that would carry over. I mean, we can play what if all day, and that's just part of the game, the injuries. But like I
I mean,
said, I don't.
similar to
I
what
and let me like
Jackson
I've
State is.
always, huh?
Jackson State is similar to what happening with Jackson State right now.
Yep. You just gotta have that next man up mentality because that's part of the game. Like that's why you recruit multiple quarterbacks, multiple running backs, multiple receivers. And like I said, I don't like for a kid to get hurt, because they put so much into it, and you also know as a player, the time that you put into it just for it to come short because an injury. I hope that he recovers. I hope that everything works out for him. But just where we are in the state of the game, we can't dwell on that situation because we can't take that back. And it's also unfair to the guys behind them because here's an opportunity for them to be able to put that best foot forward. So like I said, man, I'm excited. I'm excited about the challenge. I'm excited about to see what our defense can do. How I know our staff. They have been preparing. They make great adjustments. So it's just up for our kids not to get too emotional. I know Coach got them locked in, and like I said, I'm ready for some good football. But yeah, man, it's like I say, we can do some good things. The only thing I would say offensively from just me seeing, I think sometimes we can be too cute. Um, but I think we also, we got Jones that's on the outside. He's 6'5". Throw him the damn fade route. Like throw him the ball. Like just give it to him. Ain't nobody on that side as big as he is, and that's athletic he is. And I bank my money and I bet on him any day. But I think that coaches have a good plan together for this game because that's what they get paid to do. They've shown that they made adjustments, and this is the other thing. People talk about the eye test. We get better and better
Mm-hmm.
and better and better
Every
each week.
season
And that's what
progresses.
you want out of
Yeah,
a football team. And people also forgetting this is 70 new players.
yeah,
They said we couldn't do it. And coach did what? He's doing it. So
yeah.
Lionel, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah. So for me, when I look at, I think it's kind of a tale of halves, right? And again, that's why I always say I like to watch the game. I like to see the flow of the games. I like to see how certain things happen, when they happen, etc. You know, when I go back and look at the Alabama A&M game, which ain't much to look at, right? Um, the Jackson State game, and then the Southern game. Those are the three that I really went and paid attention to watch back. You can't, Alabama State is not necessarily doing things where they're really pushing the ball downfield. That's really not what they're doing. What they're doing, like you say, is they're getting the ball to their playmakers, and their playmakers are making plays, especially when we're talking about receivers on out wide. I completely ignore those games where they just ran like crazy because I just think, those teams just were very undisciplined. But when you talk about what they're doing, in the passing game, it's really a lot of short passes, screens,
Oh, yak yards.
out routes. There's a lot of yards out the catch, and it's a lot of missed tackles. It's a lot of missed tackles, man. You go back and look at the Jackson game. You look at a lot of bad angles being taken by some DBs. Look at the Alabama A&M game. I mean, just first two drives. I mean, one guy caught an out route and literally went all the way across field for like 50 yards. It was crazy.
I saw that.
I mean, it was crazy. It was just outrageous. And what you saw the difference was, right? And this is the thing that I'm trying to say and get people to realize, because see, they will look at the game against Southern and say, man, Southern lost that game 30-7. And Southern has not played championship football, right? Because teams that play championship football don't turn the ball over. And they turn the ball over. But you got to understand, when you look at the numbers, if you just look at the numbers without looking at the turnovers first, you say, man, this game should have been a lot closer than it appears it was. Why is that? It's because Southern turned the ball over. They turned the ball over. That's simply what it was. 369 yards for Alabama State to 339 for Southern in that game. Southern 179 yards rushing, 171 for Alabama State. So they're neck and neck when you talk about yardage. The difference was Alabama State 1 turnover, Southern 4 turnovers. The end of the first half, 6-0, Alabama State. After the first drive, in the beginning of the third quarter, right? You're talking about 7-6 Southern. Before then, you start to see it roll because of these turnovers, right? Because, Southern at the end of the day start getting the ball away. But that lets me know then, okay, this team this offense doesn't have the ability to not be quelled. And when I look at that game versus the Jackson and versus the Alabama A&M game, the main thing I saw that was key was they made two things. They made open field tackles. Because again, Alabama State isn't that like them teams are just taking shots all game. First of all, Eddie Robinson, they coach. Let's be clear. They want to run the ball. They want to start with.
They want to run.
Let's be clear. Y'all thinking because of the numbers and the points that Eddie Robinson and chat, listen, they still want to run the ball. They still trying to establish the run. That's why, listen, we talk about the run game, right? What they at? 236 a game.
Yeah, they like to run.
They still want to run the ball. And they got like 4 guys, right? They ain't got just one, by the way. They got a lot of running backs. They got a room for sure.
Running backs are good.
And any one of those guys can hurt you. So let's be clear. We're going to have to really play the run and really, really stop the run for sure. Let's be clear. That's the first thing. It ain't just all body throwing the ball all around. But Southern made tackles, man. They made open field tackles. When Body was moving around to try to bounce out in the Jackson game, when he basically slipped out of basically everything that game. I mean, Jackson in the backfield almost every 3 plays, and he literally just getting out of there, right? Guys just over pursuing, right? Guys not settling down, right? And making him choose the direction. Southern game, when you look at the first half of the Southern game, the first 2.5 quarters, defensively, Southern played Body very well, and the defense tackled very well. That's why they were in that game. What killed Southern was offensively, they start turning the ball over, and they couldn't sustain those drives right in the second half. That's what killed Southern. Yeah, Southern played good. I'm telling you, great in the first half. Now they didn't score; it was 6-0, but 6-0 mean they in the game. They were up 7-6.
Yeah,
they scored in the second half. They were up 7
they were in
before they reeled out 24 points, right? But my point is, when you can't tell me that when you look at the full game of Texas Southern, to where when we play Texas Southern, they scored their first drive, they scored their last drive, and basically nothing in between except when they had their long kickoff. The offense didn't move the ball at all. We look at Northwestern, we controlled that game defensively, right? We should have put the game away. We turned the ball over in the end zone. That's why they stayed in that game. Look at UTR. Horrible first quarter. It just is what it is. We let them come in and smack us in that first quarter, 17-0. From that second quarter on until the last 2 drives of that game for UTRGV, they did nothing, right? And so when you talk about control, the defense, they come out and they make adjustments. That's one thing they do very well. This defense of staff makes really good adjustments. Alcorn game too, I said as well. I know it's 13-12 game. Alcorn offensively did nothing. People talk about, man, we get about a Sewell. He wasn't doing it. They wasn't getting no yardage. They was off the field. How many times you give them the ball when they ain't got the ball no more? They on the sideline. We just couldn't finish drives that game. That's why that game closer than what it was. And we got a punt block, turnover, a touchdown that was overturned that should have never been overturned, right, as well.
No, that was a touchdown.
But again, it don't matter. We won the game by 1. But my point is, until that last drive, which really was, man, they lost the ball. We should have just made a tackle and end the game. He got out of there and threw the ball. That was like 35 yards right there. And then they had the flea flicker for like 70. That's their yardage on the passing game. There ain't no more yardage in the passing game except those 2 plays. So the defense has controlled games every game. Now, this offense isn't the same as other offenses. I'm gonna give them that. They got a lot of playmakers. They got a lot of running backs in that room, and they got a lot of guys they can get the ball to that can make plays. But what I like about this defense so far that I've seen is the DB room is not scared to come up and make hits, and they're not scared to come up and make tackles. And so I really think
that's the one.
Style fight. When is Alabama State able to make a guy miss and get a first down that they shouldn't have got? How often is this defense going to continue to make tackles and make Alabama State get off the field, or put them in a situation where they say, "Man, do I want to go for it on 4th down right here? Possibly give us a short field." That's the game, offense, defense for Alabama State and Prairie View, because what Alabama State takes advantage of is what we do well defensively. When you look at when we play quarterbacks that moved around a lot, we've done very good at the defensive line to play contained. Having a spy on them with the linebacker right, not allowing them to get overrun. We've done a great job of that. We tackled very well. That's where Alabama State hurts you. So I think this is going to be a great matchup. This is why I say I don't see a blowout. If Alabama State wins, I think it's because they made more plays. They were able to make some plays in the open field. But it's not going to be because they're not going to make they're not going to do what happened to Alabama A&M. It's not going to happen. That bad tackling is not going to be there, right? It's going to be closer to what you saw in that Southern first half, because that's the type of defense we play. Now, I want to get to the offensive side of things for Prairie View, though, because that is really the reason why I believe this is even a question. I believe the reason this is a question of if we can win this game is because offensively we have stalled out consistently over these first few games. We've driven the ball. We've moved the ball downfield, averaging 70 yards a game.
Yes,
on offense. So that's not showing the team can't move the ball. Even passing, people talk about the passing game. We average 190 yards passing, 180 rushing. It's not that we can't move the ball. We haven't finished drives. That's the reason this is even a question that we can win this game. Offensively versus defensively with Alabama State. Man, let me know what you guys think. What are you guys looking at? Because really the numbers are even. When you talk about what they give up and what we do, it's basically the same. When you talk about what it is, right? That should be 181 rushing yards, 172 they give up. I mean, it's really neck and neck. Can we take advantage of Alabama State on defense? Because we've seen them give up some yardage to Bethune. We've seen them give up some yardage to Jackson State. We've also seen them give us some yardage to Southern. Southern just turned the ball over, which is also something that we've been doing very well, of not giving the ball away. What's your thoughts here? Can we take advantage? Can we put points on the board so that we can make the game a different game if we can, especially we can get up early? What's your thoughts here on that? SWAC Championship game preview. Yes, sir. JB, if you want to jump on, got the link, got the call in. You want to come share your thoughts as well? Because I know you can.
I'll let you go.
About Alabama State than we can, huh?
I'm saying, I'll let Mr. Kidd go first.
On that one, and nobody really follows like we do, so they don't care. But they keep saying PV hasn't played anyone, but we've contained 4 of the top 10 running backs in the SWAC and held them to under 100 yards.
Good point.
Where they've had fantastic games against everyone else. The trick to this game is going to be, like I said on the Sunday show, the eye candy. There's going to be a lot of motions, a lot of play action pass, because they are going to run the ball. So play action is not going to be just him doing something to be doing it. He could possibly hand it off or fake the handoff, run around the end himself. Now, the one thing I did see that last game, and maybe because he didn't have to, I didn't see Body run a lot against Alabama A&M. So
you ain't got to run a lot when you up 28. than 35 and
That's what
42.
I was saying. So it
No
might
point
have
in
been
putting your
because of
body
the
on the line
Florida
at that
game.
point.
Yeah, and so we have to be careful with that. So I think he's gonna really want to beat Prairie View bad because he hasn't beaten Prairie View yet. So he's gonna try to make his best game, but you got to be careful when he does that too because it could cause you to press, and you might try to get the ball in some tight spaces. But I think it'll be interesting to see how it turns out without all the yak yards in this game because you know, it's not like he's not going to get yardage. It's not like they're not going to move the ball. The key is going to be who blinks.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and if our offense stalls, then yeah, it's going to be a long day for PV. So we're going to have to make sure we're clicking on offense so that the defense don't have to just stay out there all day. And our defensive ends definitely can't follow the misdirection. You go upfield and square off like you're supposed to, and defensive tackles be ready for that middle. So that's going to be the key because if you're not disciplined with your eyes, Alabama State is gonna definitely have you run in the wrong direction, and then Body's gonna, he's gonna swing out, and somebody's gonna be wide open, especially the fullback. Not a lot of people in the SWAC throw to the fullback and tight end,
Yeah.
and people in the SWAC forget about them. And I got one last thing before JB, and he can attest to this too. People say the SWAC ball is terrible because PV is winning, but I don't recall years ago SWAC having this many out of conference wins, regardless of what people say. So we might beat each other up, but in the past we used to beat each other up and never win any out of conference games.
Mm-hmm.
So they can miss me with the SWAC is terrible because certain teams are winning.
Yeah,
Hey, what's up, JB?
and listen,
What's up, fellas?
what's
What's
going on,
going on, man?
JB? We're gonna let you get in on this too because he makes it. Mr. Mickens makes a good point here, and that's something I saw in the Jackson game that they took advantage of a lot. One of those swing passes went for a big play, and we
Right.
talked about the yard after catch. That's something when you look back at the UTRGV game, especially in that second half, they took advantage of getting the ball to the running back out the backfield. Remember that one drive? I think we eventually stopped them on that specific drive, but then they stopped us, had a short field, and that's when they scored, right? And so they took advantage of getting the ball out to the halfback, and that's something that we've seen Alabama State take advantage of. Again, they're looking to just get the ball to playmakers and let them make plays, right? So, JB, man, you've been watching, obviously, from the beginning of the year up to this point now. What are you seeing, right, from an offensive side of things with Alabama State that has you saying, man, this is a 14-point victory for Alabama State?
First of all, man, shout out to you guys out here. I was getting ready to wind down for the night, and I saw these Panthers on the screen. I'm like, what PV Panthers? I said, oh, I forgot, man. This is my boy Lionel. Okay, so I was like, all right, yeah, here we go. Let me chime in. This is the biggest game of the week, right? The biggest game of the rest of the SWAC season right here. Number one offense, number one defense. Bama State, we have a chance. We have a chance with Jackson State losing that game on Saturday, with the quarterback being injured, with a big game coming up for Jackson State going to FAM. FAM's been winning now. So, but we can't think about that right now. We can't think about that. We have to think about we locked in on PV. We got to come see y'all, Lionel. So we got to come down to Houston. Bama State's offense, man. Andrew Body said it week one. Greatest show on turf. A lot of people thought he was just talking and running off at the mouth. So this offense it's got so many different elements. Far as you see in Bama State being able to run the ball for 300 plus yards. Hell, Madison City Classic, we had 300 yards rushing, 300 yards passing.
Right. Yeah.
Very balanced.
Crazy.
Very
That was just
balanced.
crazy. That was just crazy.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And we let our
That's
foot off the
crazy.
gas because we sat Body out and many of the starters in the fourth quarter. But that's neither here nor there, right? We're gonna talk about how this offense has looked good all season long. Starting off week one, we put up 42 points on an FBS school. And then of course the Southern game, we kind of struggled first half, but we still won the game by a big margin. And even the Jackson State game was nip and tuck. It came down to the last play of the game, and we still Andrew Body over 350 yards total offense on Jackson State, one of the top defenses. So I'm not really worried about us putting up yardage and finishing drives because we've been doing a good job at that. Um, that's why I say Bama State by 2 touchdowns, because even though our defense has been bend don't break, and I say that loosely because it's been games we can't judge off of the last game because we just pretty much manhandled A&M, but going off of previous games where the defense has given up yardage, but we still win the game, like the BC game. Bethune Cooked me. We gave up a bunch of yards, but we won the game by a bunch. Um, so looking at it that way, like I feel like we have all the elements to come down there and win this game and not like have to come back and win the game or not have to hold off but kind of win this game pretty much comfortably if we do what we have to do in all aspects of the game. Pass the ball well. Andrew Body kind of picks his spots. He doesn't really have to run if the running game is on, but he can run if he has to. He still had, I think, over 60 yards last week and a touchdown, but he
Mhm.
didn't even run the ball but about a handful of times. So, um, and a lot of people, you got to give credit to the offensive line too, guys. Our offensive line has played very well. Andrew hasn't been
Yeah.
sacked a bunch of times. So the it starts with the O line. I'm going to be at the press conference tomorrow morning. I'm going to ask Coach a couple questions, but he's been very high on this offensive line,
Mhm.
and it starts with the O line giving Andrew time to make those plays, giving the running backs running lanes to run through. So
Right, right.
it's gonna start in the trenches, guys. If our offensive line comes to play, it's gonna be a long day for y'all Panthers.
Hey, listen,
Um,
it's definitely in the trenches. Bale, man, what's your
Yeah,
thoughts
the defense is key.
in response to JB, right? Because they got the playmakers for sure, and that's what we've been saying. Now,
yeah,
Hmm.
I still don't see it as a four. I think even with all that, if Bama State win, I still think it's 3 or 7, right? I just don't see this game being a blowout on one end or the other, right? Because I really think both of these teams are good teams that
Right.
just they have two different styles. Prairie View is also again our issue. The issue with us of finishing drives is why I think this is even a conversation of this
Mm.
game not being not being seen as a better game. But when you look at what we've been able to do, right? We won games through the air, right? The first game, Texas Southern, we threw for over 300 yards, right? You know what I'm saying? Like we've run for over 300 yards in the game, right? So we've done it multiple ways throughout the year too. People just haven't. It's like people aren't realizing that because maybe they haven't watched these specific games that PV has played, but we've been able to win games in different ways. Our issue offensively is not finishing drives, where Bama State has obviously been definitely finishing drives, right? You know what I'm saying? But Bale, man, what's
Right.
your thoughts on what my guy JB is sharing regarding Alabama State, and them specifically on offensively, and also go ahead and touch on the matchup of our offense versus their defense as well too, because I know you didn't share that.
yeah. So of course, Body's been having a good year. He has some guys, there's some important cats that can play some football. Like I
Yeah.
said earlier in the show, like those guys can go. But I think in turn when we talk about our offense, we have drive killers. And those drive killers are either and they're at pivotal moments. It's not like it's a crazy consistent thing. It's like, okay, it's third down and maybe three or something like that. We jump outside. So now we put ourselves even further behind the chains
Mhm.
when if we stay in pocket, we get that first down.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's third down and maybe 7 or 8 wide open, we drop a touchdown pass.
Yeah.
We put the ball on the ground 7 times this year. Even uncontested balls, like on the ground. And
Yeah.
I think
Really
and
wide
I
open.
attribute that to lack of concentration. Coach has done a good job of challenging those guys. I know they prepare each week, but those are some things that we deal with. Our offensive line has been good this year. We're able to move people around. We're able to be we're really physical up front. So between that and our running backs, I think coach will have a good plan. A lot of times people try to get down to offensive coordinator, but when it all boils down is the guys have to go out there and execute. He can't draw up the play, go out there and block and catch the ball and score a touchdown. It's up for our guys to be able to be met with the challenge to be able to execute. I think that's the part that coach talked about. Coach Jackson talked about us getting in the end zone. It's just execution. We've driven down the field and scored. So it's not saying that we can't get it done. It's just about us getting it done. I don't see, and this is just me personally, we haven't even played our best game yet offensively. And I think this is one of those games that we get a chance to do that just based upon the two matches and how everything pans itself out. Because Alabama State will score fast. So now you got it now in that situation. If you got a team that scores fast, your defense got to get, your offense got to get the roll and everything like that. But even with our receiver, we have a great group of guys that can get it done on the outside, and we got depth. That's the other thing that people don't realize. We got guys that have come off the bench and can make plays. Alabama State has the same thing, but I see us. Some people call me crazy. But I can see us as a 2 touchdown favorite just because of the way that our defense flies around and get some takeaways. Our DBs don't get enough credit for having that no fly zone back there because a lot of times when you look at that Southern game, the
Kind of
adjustment
breaking
that
up a
they made
little
was
bit.
beautiful. You look at the Southern game, we forced.
Hey, is Bell breaking up for y'all?
Yeah, Bell's breaking up a little
Okay,
bit.
yeah,
Yeah, he breaking up.
breaking up. I think he probably gonna realize it in a second. Let me see. But yeah, man, he make some good points there. I think as well, when you talk about, I think that's the key, right? He made a point that I think is really really key to this game. We talked about it a little bit before, and we can get into the keys of the game too. What we think our keys of the game are, but Alabama State, though they don't necessarily take big shots, they're able to make really big plays.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in the run game, in the pass game, a slant going for 50, or a quick screen right going for 25. They're able to make big plays off of just getting the ball to playmakers' hands, right? You know what I'm saying? So that I think is the main key because again, right, it's strength on strength when you talk about our offense and their offense and our defense. Because one thing that this defensive staff has been key on doing is saying, hey, we believe that if we make people have to drive the field, meaning you got to go on a 12, 13 play drive to score, we just don't think you can do that consistently, right? And that's what we've continued to make teams do, force them to do. And obviously, so far, especially in SWAC games, we only given up 12 points a game so far, right? Because teams aren't able to just to do. And another thing is, I think Andrew Body's maturity is going to be tested in this game because he's an older quarterback now who, again, in Texas Southern, he probably wouldn't take those check downs that he's taking that now Marcus Harris is taking for 30, right? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He probably try to force something, you know what I mean? And I still think in a couple of these games with Jackson, right, he did start to press a little bit. There's a couple plays that could have been made defensively, right, and turnovers that could have been had, right, that fell on the ground. But you don't see as much as when we saw him back at Texas Southern. But I think that's the key is he going to be able to stay patient? Because the defense our defense is definitely going to make Alabama State take their time to move down the field. And we tackle really well. So it's not going to be a lot of missed tackles like we saw in the Jackson game and like we saw in the Alabama A&M game, right? We're going to make tackles, and they're going to have to go get the third down. They're going to have to go then 1-2 and going to have to make the third down. And that's another thing.
Third down, yeah.
We've been really good on third downs, right? So that's why I say it's really strength on strength. Like, is what they do well versus what we do well. And so that's why I'm going to really love. And so it really, honestly, the key really is probably going to be our offense versus their defense. I mean, I think that's going to be really huge is what is Alabama State defense? Are they able to, like you say, be bend, don't break? Because that's what our trouble has been, right? That's your strength versus our weakness, right? We've not been able to finish drives. You've been bending but not breaking, right? So, JB, let me get your keys to the game. Mr. Mickens, we get your keys to the game, then we go to Brandon as well.
I like what you said. You want to go ahead, Bill? Okay. I like what you said. Okay, about our defense being a key against you guys' offense. Our front is got to get to Cameron Peters. We got to get to your quarterback. Um, and we did a pretty good job last week getting to the quarterback. But I like our we have an opportunistic defense, meaning we can get turnovers when we if we have your quarterback under pressure. We got guys like Keon Lewis or Tayshawn Sims who will catch a pick. You know, we got guys who will force a fumble or things like that. Jaleel Lenoir's been playing out of his mind at the linebacker position. So I've liked how far our defense has come. You know, after between the first game and then let's say the Jackson State game, all the other games, our defense has been pretty stellar. Yeah, we gave up a lot of yards, Bethune. Everybody gonna say that, but the defense has been playing really, really solid. And turnovers is gonna be a key to me. Right.
Definitely.
I feel like,
Yeah.
man, we got to whoever wins that turnover battle in a game like this, where it's strength on strength, where it's Bama State's high power offense. And now I'm gonna go out on the limb and say we're not gonna score 50 points this week. We're not gonna score 50 points. All right. I would be surprised if we score 50 points. So if the game is like in the high 20s, low 30s, I don't know if PV can get up there, you know, unless we give you guys some extra possessions. If we give you guys some extra possessions, then yeah, you guys can capitalize on those. But I feel like for sure, I'm gonna count Andrew Body and our offense for sure for at least 30 points because Bama State has scored 30 points every game.
Hey,
Every at least 30 points every game.
if you score 30, I like your chances of winning. I just put it straight like that. If you
Yeah.
score 30, I love your chances of winning. Mr. Mickens, man, what you got? Keys to the game.
Yeah, you took that right out my mouth. If they get, 30, 35 points, then I'm not sure I can see PV's offense getting that on the Alabama State defense. And also, depending on how you get the points, too. If you get turnovers, get a short field, that kind of thing, those are kind of things that could turn the game. Um, we won't have any inclement weather, which kind of seems to favor PV for some reason. So it's going to be a nice day. So it won't be any excuse of the weather. But the key is going to be it's not how many penalties, is where you get the penalties. That's the thing. A penalty that takes away a first down, or if you're on
Right.
defense, a penalty that gives them a first down after you made a good stop. Those are the kind of things. And see, that's the thing, the way Andrew Body plays, I can see a penalty coming up with a face mask because he runs like a running back. So somebody really trying to get him can get a bad penalty, in that case. Or some reverse thing that they do, and then we get caught like that. I do like whatever coach did with the kicking game. That's improved our chances because we were kicking it shallow and giving up big yardage on the kickoff. That seems to help us a lot. And like I said, the defense staying disciplined. Andrew Body takes advantage of misdirection, trap plays, jet sweeps, fake jet sweeps, stuff like that. And then those dump offs, like, kind of like how I saw Mahomes do last night. And like our quarterback did at Southern. We let the running back leak out and everybody was after him. But there was Bingham right there, and Bingham versus one of your defensive backs, that's not a good matchup. So, and I'd like to see if PV plays the way I know that they can play. We got some people back that's kind of been dinged up and missing. That's going to be key as well because, like I said, people haven't seen PV really play with all the people they had that at the same time available. Like a couple games where they said we struggled, McDowell wasn't available. So and that changes your offense a lot when a 6'2", 225-pound running back can't play. That's a real big difference. Or you have a game where maybe Peters is a little dinged up and we have to go with the running quarterback. That kind of changes things too. So when they say we struggle, it's because we had to make do. But what I do like about this team, you can't panic if PV is down at the half, because what I haven't seen in a while at Prairie View is adjustments. This staff has analysts and people that are looking at things versus before we just kind of wing it and then we don't adjust. They're going to make adjustments, and like Coach Dooley used to say, the scratch, or was it Bubba? Used to say they're going to scratch where it itch. So I think if we do a little of that, that's going to really help. But man, this game is going to be really close to call. I don't see it a blowout either way, but PV likes ugly games. So I would say anything below 30, I think PV has a chance of winning. Above 30, PV has a chance of losing, but I don't see it being losing by, 3 touchdowns or anything like that. It'll just be that we just couldn't score enough. Maybe something like a 35, 24, 35, 28, something like that. But that's what I kind of see the game coming down to. But if we could keep it to a 23-point game on their end, then PV could possibly eke that out, 28, 23 or something like that. It just depends on what we can do with their defense. What do you think, Brother Bale?
Bale, you can get your keys to the game, man, and then we're gonna close it out with our predictions. You muted.
You on mute.
No, we can't hear you. You muted right now.
There you go.
Can't hear me?
Yep, there we go.
Mhm.
Yep.
I unmuted it. It may be some on your end. I can't.
I can hear you now. We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So okay,
We
it's
can
a
hear
delay
you.
on my end. Okay. So my keys to the game is this, man. My keys to the game is us making body uncomfortable. Making him uncomfortable in the pocket, make him have to think. When he doesn't have to think, he's gonna kill you any day of the week. But I think with our defense coordinator been throw different things at him and show him different looks he hadn't seen before, then I think that's gonna also be a big part of the success that we have when we start talking about the coaching staff. If I'm not mistaken, I may be wrong, but Body's right-handed, correct? If I'm, I've
Yeah.
been trying to look at some stuff, watch a
Yeah.
little film, but I seen a couple of times in the film when you get him pressure to the side with his throwing arm, he doesn't really get a chance to really get off. So I think our coaches already paid attention to that as well. One of the things that I also seen is, and it's just me conditioned to watch film, and I'm pretty sure our guys also is knowing when they're gonna run and when they're not gonna run. Because I seen a couple of times the receivers will basically let you know when Alabama State is gonna run the ball. And like I said, those are just things I look at, but making him uncomfortable in the pocket. Before I went off, um, before my phone got disconnected, we talked about the offense. Touched on that. I think our offense will be good to go this week. I think we'll be able to do some things and be able to get back to that running down here the way that we want to. Our offensive line has been good all year. Our quarterbacks have been playing well each week, and I think our coaching staff and also the players are up for the challenge. I say we're 2 touchdown favorite just based upon our defense putting us in good positions and potentially have some turnovers and us scoring off those turnovers. So if we score off those turnovers, I think that also gives us an opportunity to be a 2 touchdown favorite based upon the mistakes. So, like I say, between us getting back, I didn't say get back to the basics, between us running downhill, taking what they give us, and taking advantage of the guys that we have on the outside, but also making Body think and put him in uncomfortable situations. I think that's what's gonna give us a nod. I don't take anything away from him. He's a damn good football player, but I got faith in my team as well that we're a damn good football team that we don't get credit for. So I'm excited about the matchup. But like I said, I'd take PV as 2 touchdown favorite. With the offense stepping up this week and scoring, but also with our defense getting a takeaway.
So I got these 3 things, right? One, and we already talked about it, right? Yards after catch. I mean, that's where Bama State kills you at the end of the day. They're gonna take what you give them, but they believe they can beat you when they take what you give them, right? And so multiple games, you see the same thing happening, right? Yards at the catch. The reason Southern was in that game because they tackle very well. And so again, you got to limit the yards at the catch. Number two, you got to contain body, right? Goes back to that T-set game with Grambling. You know, the defensive line, you could tell that first 2-3 quarters, it was clear that they were not rushing to get sacks, right? They were rushing to actually keep T-set in the pocket and make him throw the ball. I think something similar to that is probably going to be a part of the game plan here on defense, right, with Body, because he hurts you really outside the pocket. That's really where he hurts you. Let's be clear. Body inside the pocket, you got a chance to rally and make some plays, right? Because it's on time, right? It's basically in scheme of the game. You know what I mean? You can make some plays, probably get out the field. What he really hurts you is actually when you get out the pocket. And when the receivers keep moving, and listen, they got telepathy or something because they know exactly what spots to be in a lot of times in order to really make some big plays. And they really hurt you when you lose them, right? When Body moves around. So you really want to contain them and not allow them to get out the pocket as much, right? And when he gets out, we've done a good job so far with running quarterbacks of having a spy on them and really, we got some guys that can move with some speed, really being able to get to the QB and forcing them then either to pull it down or throw the ball away, right? And so again, that's a battle within the battle right there of that linebacker right against Body and how many times they can get him on the ground or get him to go ahead and get the ball away, and how many times he can get some extra yardage, right? That maybe they shouldn't have got there. So that's going to be a key to this game. Talking about the defense. We talk about getting pressure on our QB. One thing we've done so far really good is keeping our QB upright, right? Right now, we're the number one team in the SWAC as far as sacks allowed, only allowing 5 sacks so far this season, right? And that's through 7 games. So that means, right, we've not allowed people to get to Cam Peters or to Tevin Carter. So they've had time to throw, which is why we've been able to move the ball through the air majority of the time. Our issue has been penalties most of the time. And then also sacks. We've been able to get to the quarterback even though we only got 3 down, right? And that's one thing we were worried about early in the year, right, was, man, can we get to QBs? We've been able to do that pretty well. 15 sacks so far, multiple tackles for loss. So when we do go, I think we'll get home. And I will say, the last thing I say, again, finish drives with scores, right? So that's on special teams as well, right? We've had some missed kicks in some games that have been able to put games into 2-score games, for example, that kept it at 1 score, that allows teams to stay in games, things like that. Bama State seems like they have a kicker that's pretty good, right? You know what I'm saying? And so, if they go down and get a score on field goal and we go down and miss one, man, that's some you can't make up for stuff like that. And so we're gonna have to finish drives with scores, whether that's field goals or whether that's touchdowns. We just need to put points on the board. And the last thing I say is, man, I'm really interested to see what this defense means. I'm not gonna lie, because that Southern game, I keep saying it. We didn't blitz at all that Southern game. It was as if we was like, hey, listen, we know that we can beat you this way. And we just gonna sleep with the vanilla, right? And make you make plays. But I've seen this defense at different times show some stuff to quarterbacks that'll make you feel like, man, where did this guy come from, right? And so I think this is probably going to be the game where we really see a lot of exotic stuff that I think Coach Anderson has been saving for big games like this, right? Other times when we feel like, hey, man, we can just beat you just kind of playing straight up. He's played that way, right? We've not brought pressure when we didn't feel we need pressure, right? We stopped the run. We just going to stop the run. You 3rd and long, we're just going to rally and tackle, right? But when those couple games where we need to bring pressure, like UTRGV, when we started to say, hey, man, we're going to have to start doing something a little different, man, some of the stuff they start doing was real interesting. So I'm interested to see how they bring some pressure against Alabama State and how Andrew Body answers that, right? He's going to make some plays, right? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if you can make one more than he makes, I think in a good position. So, man, let's give our score predictions, man. And then we're going to get out of here, man. We appreciate you, JB, for coming and jumping on, represent Big Bama State. You know what I'm saying? As they take on Big TV. But
ain't no problem, bro.
Yeah, I think, can you mute your, because I think you got feedback coming through and it's playing. So if you can mute your whatever it's coming out of, because we hear. But JB, man, what's your score prediction?
Man, shouts out to my guy Alvin Moore. I saw in the chat. He took my score prediction. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to y'all. 35-21 Bama State. There it is right there. That's why I say 14. It could be 24. I don't know if y'all kicker, you say he done missed some kicks. Bama State does have good field goal kicking at a certain range, but I just feel like I don't see us not scoring at least 30. We haven't scored less than 30 all season long. And you guys do have the best defense in the SWAC. I'm gonna give you that credit. We gotta go. It's hostile environment, playing in PV. Andrew hasn't beat PV yet. He's gonna beat him on Saturday.
Good reminder for everybody. He ain't BPV yet. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Mickens, what you got?
I see this one. I think somebody else had it out there. I'm looking at, in the famous words of LSG, Keith Sweat and Levert and Johnny Gill, my body all over your body. So, I don't see the 30. I don't see the 30.
Put it on the sign. Put it on the sign. Put it on the sign. My body.
Lord have mercy.
Put it on the sign. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that was good.
I gotta go with that one. 28-24 PV.
Okay.
Hey, Bill, what you got, man? That was hilarious. I know he on the delay, so
PV by 2 touchdowns. It don't matter.
it don't matter the points. It's just 2 touchdowns. I got you.
Don't matter. 14-0. Even.
14-0. I take it. Right. So this would be the best PV team we've
2
seen.
touchdowns.
Is ready to take on the challenge and silence some people. That's what Jared said. Yeah, I think they're ready too, man. They know it's a big one. I love how they've been locking in, doing just focus on one game at a time. Right. Again, that's what you want for championship teams. Focus on one game at a time. Good thing, man, is listen, we're not worried about all the scenarios because at the end of the day, we came here to host a SWAC championship game. And thanks to the G-men, we got a chance to do that, right? Listen, we got a chance. Listen, this game is huge, y'all. Bama State got to win this game to stay in this race because, first of all, Jackson got to lose another game. Now, I think I'm with I think Ezra in here to say, I think they got a shot because, man, Morgan going down is huge, right? So I think they got a chance of losing the game. But listen, Bama State got to win out, bro. So this game is so huge. And for Prairie View, this game is just as huge. I don't think people looking at it as only Bama State is got the pressure. I don't think so because I really think PV is recognizing like, hey, we came and said we wanted to do something specific. It wasn't just we wanted to play and win the SWAC championship. We wanted to host on the hill. And I keep saying, if you host this game, bro, you talking about $1 million into this program because that's basically how much you're gonna make off of hosting this game at home, right? You basically playing for $1 million, bro. That's what you're playing for, right? Maybe if it's at Jackson, maybe that's 1.8 or 2 mil, right? It's a little bit different there. You know what I'm saying? But my point is, if Bama State hosted, that may be 1.5 mil. My point is, bro,
they're a little bigger.
This game is bro. It's like you playing for $1 million right now. And JB, you talking about being in the NIL space? You probably talking about playing for some money that actually could go in your pocket right now. Actually,
thank you.
For real.
Yeah,
this is for real. Because that money that come into your program, and then think about if you host the game and then you win the SWAC championship, right? And so that means you're gonna get Celebration Bowl money. You're gonna get a meal from the Celebration Bowl. So whoever program gets it done over this, that's why I love what it is right now, right? Everybody got some loss. Well, probably we ain't lost yet, right? But everybody got a chance. It's like that right now, man. So listen, it's a game that is one of them right now, and that's why I don't think there's gonna be no big. I don't think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I don't think it's gonna be a high scoring game myself, right?
9-6
because when you get to them times
9-6 again.
when it's them championship fights in the rounds, man, you'll see boxers come out and just start unloading. Bruh, I know you got power. You know I got power too. Let's not play. Let's not play like that. Because you run up on me, you're gonna get knocked out. If I run up on you, you're gonna get knocked out. That's what championship game boxing matches is like that. So them first couple rounds, we really feeling each other out. I think this gonna be one of them games, just like that Jackson Bama State game was like, man, listen, that was one of the ones. I think this is gonna be the same way. I ain't gonna lie. It's just gonna be more on the defensive side of things than the offensive side of things. I got it 23-16. Now I know some people gonna look and say, man, nah, bro. I already told y'all. I don't think that's why I think, listen, 23, 24 points is that's exactly what Bama State want to be. If they get there, yeah, they might walk away with this victory. Because if they get to 30, I think they're gonna win.
Yeah, they get to 30, it's a problem.
30, right? Because I think, like they say, dragging the phone booth, that's what we want to do. We want to slow it down. You ain't gonna get that many possessions. This ain't gonna be Alabama. You ain't gonna get the ball back a whole bunch of times. We're not gonna turn the ball over, and you're not gonna get that many chances with it. So do with it what you will.
Right.
So I got it 23-16 because I just really believe this defense is better than a lot of people are giving it credit to be. You know what I'm saying? And if Alabama State wins, I think it's gonna be like a reverse, like a 23-16 Alabama State. I just don't see it getting no crazier than that. It's gonna be one of them knockout drag out fights. So that's what I got, man. So Bill, you want to say
tug of war though? Yeah. It's a Lionel. This is gonna be the battle of two Qs wrestling at the Q picnic.
That's true.
So they're gonna be tussling.
Alvin Moore said, "I miss the PVs to the old '90s. That's the PV I love to see." Yeah, you ain't listen. You ain't. This ain't the PV you ain't gonna like this PV because it's the PV that's gonna throw some blows with you. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Bill. You ain't gonna like this PV because it's the PV that's gonna throw some blows with you.
I think Bill played.
Hey man, look. Hey, I'm excited about the opportunity to be able to see some good football. It seems that we're gonna get some good weather. And I'm more excited about the challenge for my fan base that's coming out here so that we can put our best foot forward and show these guys some support. We got a beautiful facility to show off. We're gonna have some guys that will be hosting that'll be on a visit this game. So it's a lot at stake, it's a lot at stake. And I'm pretty sure some of those guys that's on the sideline that's coming on visits where we are, we're pretty sure being recruited also probably by Alabama State. So between the recruits being on the sideline and just the overall atmosphere, man, I'm excited. Some good football gonna be played. Like I said, man, this is one of those games that most people didn't circle on their schedule, but this is one of those games that you're gonna get. I think somebody's gonna show up. Somebody's gonna be to make that big play. I just hope that our guys, I ain't gonna say I hope, I know our guys will be the one that make a play. It's just a matter of who. So we got a resilient bunch. We've been in some tight games. I think we built for this. Coach got them where they need to be. And I think we locked in and focused, man. I haven't seen nothing on social media. And guys are locked in and ready to go. So yeah, man. I look, if you're coming out here, you come get something to eat. We'll have a good time, man, and talk a little trash, but at the end of the day, it's all love.
Hey man, JB man, let them know where they can find you. I know you also gonna be doing a preview tomorrow, huh?
Yes, sir. If you want to join me tomorrow, I'm definitely gonna be on tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central Time. Sports Talking with JB, the YouTube channel. Go hit the subscribe. Black and Gold Show every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central. I'm gonna do the recap show on Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Central. And I'm locked in. I won't be at the game, but I'll be locked in. And y'all stay tapped in with me. I'll be at the press conference tomorrow asking Coach Eddie some questions in the morning.
That's what's up, man. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all show him some love. Go jump on over there and go and give him a like and a subscribe as well. Hey, listen, he good people. So on Sunday, y'all ain't gotta mess with him on Sunday. He good people. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Just let him experience the loss in peace. Okay, you know what I mean? We're
gonna celebrate. We're gonna celebrate on
everybody
Sunday,
else though. But all these other people out here, y'all make sure y'all give them the business and let them know what they said. Because they talking about 3 scores and all this crazy stuff.
I'm gonna sleep good.
I just don't see it. He said he gonna sleep. I know you're gonna sleep good.
I'm gonna sleep good. Yeah.
All my best sleeps came after I cried. Listen, all of them. But with that said, man, we appreciate y'all for jumping on the show and coming on. Hey, listen, tomorrow we got the PV Nation podcast, and them, you already know how them brothers break it down, man. But listen, the first thing I just appreciate we was talking football today. Listen, people weren't talking their feelings. Now y'all can disagree with our predictions. Y'all can disagree with JP predictions, but at least we talk football. At least we gave some reasons for why we believe what's about to happen is about to happen, right? He gave reasons for why he think they're 2 touchdown favorite. Balin gave you reasons why he think it's 14. I told you I think it's a phone booth, and I gave my reasons. We ain't out here just talking and just saying stuff just to say stuff, all right? We talking football. It ain't no feelings, all right? Ain't no feelings. It's football, and we giving our analysis, all right? So again, we appreciate all y'all for jumping on with us, man. And now we let the chips fall where they may, and we're gonna enjoy.
Hey, Lionel, quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
So if PV wins, won't that mess up our initial prediction? PV and Alabama State in the SWAC championship.
Man, so no, what messed up that prediction
what
messed up that prediction was them not scoring on the 2-yard line. That has absolutely nothing to do with me, because that prediction was fire. My prediction was good. My prediction was good. They didn't score on the 2-yard line. They got to deal with that themselves.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they messed you up.
Because one thing I know is this, right? I already know whatever happened this weekend, I'm still have a chance to win the SWAC championship. That's all I know. Okay, you feel me? So now they got to deal with what they got to deal with. Now it was lined up for them. It was there. It was right there. It was right there. It was right.
It's still lined up. It's still lined up.
What'd you say, JP?
It's still lined up.
That was gonna be a great one, right? Bama State coming to Prairie View for the championship game would have been great. But hey, listen, now we got to take who. But first, I don't even know who coming out the East. Let's be clear. I have no idea at this point, right? Because listen, y'all keep acting like FAMU ain't 2-1 and ain't been putting up 400 plus yards these last 2 games. So I mean, I don't care who they playing. You put up 400 plus yards on offense, you need to stop and listen and pay attention. Okay, so I don't care what y'all talking about. At the end of the day, I don't know who coming out the East right now at this point, right? Because Jackson ain't even playing with their first string quarterback. They got a freshman third string. At the end of the day, he didn't look good. But man, somebody gonna show him some stuff he ain't seen before.
Well, Lionel, before we check out, Lionel.
Go ahead.
If FAM beats Jackson State this week, and we
That's
beat y'all, guess who's in the driver's seat for the SWAC?
No. It's y'all, right? And y'all will be at that point the host at that point because y'all
because we already beat FAM.
Yeah. And y'all beat Bethune too.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's gonna be trouble.
That's trouble right there.
It is what it is, right? So and we haven't talked about it, right? But listen, I also think Alcorn gonna be Texas Southern this week, even though I still had Texas Southern finish second. They still probably finish second. I think they're actually gonna get clipped this week. I'm just gonna put that out there too. But with that said, man, listen, I just the one thing I love before we go, the one thing I hated when Jackson won at Alabama State. I don't care. By the way, I don't care. I don't hate Jackson State or nothing. I don't care nothing about that. I don't care who comes out. I keep saying, you think I care who come out the East? I don't care who we play for the championship. I don't care if Valley is there to play the championship. It don't matter to me. I just want to win the thing, okay? But the reason I hated it was because even if we won out, we had no say so in whether we hosted the championship or not. We had no, because we don't play them. You see what I'm saying? That's really why I wanted Alabama State to win. Because listen, now if they win, hey, listen, let me shake your hand, right? Because at least I had my shot. I had a chance on the field to determine what it should be, right?
True.
I would have not even had a chance if they, you know what I'm saying, if they wouldn't have lost the game, we wouldn't even had a chance to make our own, to decide our fate. Now we get to decide our fate, right? You know what I'm saying? And so we got to deal with it. We got to deal with a body to determine that, right? But listen, my body all over your body. I'll holler at y'all.